I have been an avid thrifter for many years at this point, and for the past couple years I've been using Vinted as part of my thrifting. And I have noticed a pattern with this that I want to talk about today. I have about 180 clothing items in my wardrobe, some of which I've had for a few years, some of them are much more recent. I don't have anything in my wardrobe right now that is older, I think, than like 4 years maybe, because my size has been changing and I've had to swap things out for that reason. But a pattern I've been noticing when I'm thrifting, specifically on a place like Vinted, is that I keep favoriting things that I already have in my wardrobe. And we're not talking exactly the same item here. I'm not favoriting this shirt necessarily, but I keep getting recommended and keep seeing and keep liking and thus also favoriting items that are very, very similar to what I already have in my wardrobe. For example, I have a lot of button downs. I really like button downs. I have a blue one, a dark blue one that I really love, and I'll be getting blue button downs recommended to me on Vinted, and I'll go, ooh, favorite, ooh, favorite. Same with white button downs or tiered skirts or other things that already exist in my wardrobe. And I don't necessarily buy duplicates, but I keep favoriting them. And I've been reflecting a bit on this because I find it so funny when I then go through my favorites and go, oh, I already have a shirt like that. Oh, I already have a skirt like that. And it's not everything that I favorite, but I feel like without having done the math, a good like 75-80% of what I heart on Vinted, I already have a version of in my wardrobe. To me, this really means that I know my style. I know that I like a blue button down. I know that I like a green t-shirt, and so I'll favorite those things because I'm reminded that I like those kind of items, I guess. And I don't think it comes from a place of being unsatisfied or unhappy with the version of the item I already have in my wardrobe, because again, it's rare that I buy a duplicate. But then again, what do we mean by duplicates? I did make this video last year in which I had thrifted 5 pairs of the same pair of pants, just in different colors, and that was duplicates. Those are duplicates. But they were different enough to me because they were different colors, and also some of them are shorter because they hadn't been stretched when they were washed, and they're viscose, so they're shrunken. So they were different enough to me to introduce them into my wardrobe. However, I do not love all those pairs equally. As part of those trousers, I got this pair of pink linen and viscose trousers. And since more than 3 years back, I've had this pair in my wardrobe, which is a pair of pink linen and cotton trousers, and these are my favorite item in my wardrobe. And even when I made that duplicates video about a year ago, it was pretty clear to me that I probably didn't have to introduce those pink ones into my wardrobe when I already have this pair, which is the best pair and my favorite item in my wardrobe. I admit that I got a little bit sucked into the but they exist in 5 colors, I want to collect them all mindset for those duplicate pants. But generally I don't do duplicates. I don't keep buying blue shirts, for example, when I already have one that I like. But I'm curious about where to draw the line with duplicates, like what makes something a duplicate in your wardrobe. I, for example, have several white button downs. They are all different. They're not the same brand or same size or same, make. Are they duplicates? Do they serve the same function in my wardrobe? I would argue they don't. They do not serve quite the same function. Some of them have long sleeves, some have shorter sleeves, some have embellishments, some are more plain, some are more oversized, some are more fitted, right? So to me, those do not serve the same function. But if we look at my oversized button downs that I have a few of at this point, I have a yellow one, I have an orange one, I have a light blue one, for example. These serve a similar purpose to me, because I tend to wear them, most of the time when I wear them, I tend to wear them as an overshirt, layered open over something else. And then I guess you could argue, or I could argue, that they are duplicates because they serve the same purpose, but these are more individual, they stand out more, they're more different than 5 white button downs, for example, that are more homogeneous in their look, right? Because they're 5 white button downs, but then they have their own separate little sparkles. They don't have sparkles really, but like their own special little qualities to them. But I would look at the yellow or orange or light blue overshirt and think that they're different because they bring something very different to an outfit because of their color. So even though they serve the same function in a way that the white ones perhaps don't, they are different to me because they are different colors. So where does one draw the line when it comes to duplicates? Is it that they are a white shirt? That's it. Is it that they serve the same function in your wardrobe? For example, an overshirt. Are all trousers technically duplicates, or are they different because they have different fit and size and length and cut and shape to them? I don't have a good answer to that question, I don't think. But what I do know is that I don't tend to get things that I consider close enough duplicates. I got those 5 pairs of pants. They are the same pant, just in different colors, right? They're the same size, they're the same fit. They should all be equal, just the color being different. Again, sizing is a little bit shrunken on some of them, but they should be the same pants. But I don't consider all of my white button-downs to be duplicates of one another. I don't consider all of my midi dresses being duplicates of one another, nor my overshirts. Like, I do think that they are individual items and they serve a different purpose or different perspective of a purpose in my wardrobe. So even if it's an overshirt and I could wear the blue one or the orange one, they are both overshirts. They serve the same purpose in an outfit of being an overshirt. But since they are different colors, the orange one, for example, is a lot brighter. It's a lot more in your face. It also has a little different texture to it, and it's more oversized, I guess, than the other ones I have. But still, that's what the orange one brings to the table. The light blue one is a paler color, fainter color, milder color to look at. It doesn't stand out as much. It doesn't punch you in the face the way that the orange one does. So they are both overshirts, but to me, they are different. I also don't think there's any harm in duplicates, though, if it's something that you want and use. If you know that you want to wear a crisp white button down 5 days a week, if you could, and the one crisp white button down you do have, you do want to wash every 1 to 2 wears, perhaps, then I don't think there's any harm in having a second, third, fourth crisp white button down in your wardrobe. Same for me. I like my overshirts. I could wear the same one for a couple days because I wear something under it. It doesn't get very sweaty, usually, but I do like adding different colors, different textures, different tastes, different flavors to my outfits, and thus I have several and I have them in different colors. For me, I don't want to wear the same item every day. I have different styles or aesthetics. I like different colors. I like sometimes more neutral outfits and sometimes more crazy and wild and colorful outfits, and so I don't want to wear the same thing every day, but I do still have types of items that I really enjoy. For example, the overshirts, and so I want to have variety in those. I don't want to have 5 of the same orange overshirts because I don't need to. First of all, it doesn't go in the wash that often since I don't wear it every day, but also I want the variety in the colors, so I don't want 5 of the same. But I do think that when it comes to Vinted and favoriting things that I already have very similar items of in my wardrobe versus thrifting in a store, there is a difference between these two things, because on Vinted there are algorithms, it knows what I've liked before, it shows me things it thinks I will like. Sometimes it's way off, but oftentimes it has an idea of what I would like. In a physical thrift store, I browse much more, much better, I guess, than I do on the app. I will perhaps look for a specific color and not look at other colors because I'm more or less drawn to them, but I will browse through the racks a lot more when I'm not automatically fed what I should like. I will look at a much wider variety of items because I organically see them. I'm not being fed them in an app that thinks it knows what I like. I'll just be in a store, these are the things that are in the store, I'm feeling the color yellow today, and then I'll just browse through the yellow or the skirts or whatever section, right? So I think I'm subjected to more things when I'm in a physical store, and I have found a lot of good gems in physical stores. I have also found gems in not physical stores, like on the apps as well, but it's very different what I see myself drawn to. Like, I'm fed something in the algorithm, but I have to search out something on my own in the store. And have I ever been in a store and picked up an item that is very similar to something I already have? Yeah, I probably have. But that mostly, again, comes down to my tastes and knowing what I like. I will find a floral dress or a white button down or an overshirt, I guess, because that's an example I keep giving in this video, because I like that type of item. But I'm very curious to hear what it's like for you. Do you find yourself liking the same things over and over, things you already have in your wardrobe on an app, for example? Do you find yourself pulled to the same things over and over in a thrift store? Do you feel like there's a divide between the two if you use both methods? I would love to hear your thoughts about that in the comments down below. And also what your thought is on duplicates. When do you think something is a duplicate? Do you mind having duplicates? Do you prefer having duplicates? I would love to hear all those thoughts in the comments down below. But thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another video soon, so I hope to see you then. Bye!